Hello, morning, good evening, good day, good afternoon, and aloha. Welcome back to another episode of Lou Reviews, your home for credible, fun news on games, movies, trailers, and all sorts of good stuff. Food, UFOs every once in a while. My name's Jimenez, actor extraordinaire and professional waiter here in Los Angeles, California. Welcome back to another episode. I'm so happy you guys are here. Quick update on my video game streams that hopefully will be coming up here in the new year. The equipment is hopefully on its way. Again, it's kind of hard to get right now, but I've been playing the hell out of Call of Duty. I'm actually getting pretty good at it. So we'll talk about it. That review is definitely coming. I decided to do a full game review as opposed to just the free version review, just because I ended up just enjoying the game so damn much. But that's kind of the review right there. I do love it. Anyway, but today is all about Black Adam. My Black Adam review. I just watched it last night on HBO Max. Holy cow. I've got a lot of opinions about this film. God, where do I start? Okay, let me preface all of this with I am a huge fan of The Rock. I've been there since high school, since I watched him play football at the University of Miami in college because I was there. Always have been a fan of The Rock. So I'll start there. Because from there, I don't think there's going to be a positive thing I say about this movie. This might be, in my opinion, one of the worst superhero films I've ever seen. Ever. It was all over the place, and let's get into it. Okay, so let me go ahead and say hello to the people first before I bring up the screen. Is the hamburger eating contest Lou is doing again? Did I do a hamburger eating contest at all ever? Sounds fun, but nope, that's not today. Simon Fly. I've never heard of it. I'm assuming Black Adam. This is it's almost so bad that you have to watch it, but it's a blockbuster film. Well, it was a blockbuster budgeted film, and we're going to get into that as well. Tickle Monster. Lou, Tickle Monster, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Christmas, dude. Right back at you. Thank you so much for being here. Fun news. I love games, movies, trailers, food, and UFOs. Excellent. You're in the right spot. You're in the perfect spot. Oh, by the way, speaking of UFOs, I had a really great conversation with Rather Be Squidding today. So you'll see him sprinkled into the show here and there. So look forward to him. Not just about UFOs. We'll be playing video games here, hopefully in the new year as well. So just fingers crossed for that. Chris MS, no spoilers. There's going to be spoilers in this. So thank you for reminding me. This is a spoiler review of the film. It's been out since summer. I think it's safe to talk about spoilers in the whole movie. I'm going to be jumping around all over the place. But sorry, Chris, there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this. Hey, what's up? Diggs BTW7. Thank you so much for being here. No sticking way. I'll skip it. Skip it. Go watch it. Skip this. And then come back and watch it, because I don't want you to. I don't want to mess it up for you. But honestly, I don't recommend watching this film. But if you really, really don't want to hate spoilers, then yeah, change the channel. Royston Grange. Hello, back at you. Merry Christmas to you as well. I miss Rather. I always miss Rather. Okay, not gonna see it anyway. Okay. All right. Well, for anyone else who decides to watch in the near future, here, let me also do this. Let me kill the music. There we go. Okay. So now that that is over. Okay. So let me bring up some things here that I'm going to be referencing as I talk about the film. Okay, so first things first, this film's not going to get a sequel. Um I think I genuinely believe this movie was so bad that by the time you got to the end credit scenes, and spoiler alert, just I know I'm going right to the end of the movie, but there was a scene where Superman comes in and has a conversation with Black Adam, um, about either getting in a potential fight or potentially helping each other. Of course, this was setting up to have a fight between Superman and Black Adam. And then I'm sure it would have turned at some point to where they're friends, just like they did with Batman versus Superman, which to me is just the dumbest thing. Like I feel like a lot of these, you know, this guy versus this person kind of movies are just excuses to get a CGI fight between these two characters and pay fan service to the people who've always wanted to see this fight, as opposed to having a good reason as to why these two characters are fighting. I think they did it pretty well in Captain America Civil War. Like they had reasons to be upset with each other. There was conflict. They disagreed on a certain point, to a point where it forced them to engage each other. Um, I think the end credit scene for this movie, I all I was picturing in my brain when I saw it was James Gunn sitting there in his personal, screening room and putting his hand to his head and going, "Yeah, we can't do this. Um, we have to end this universe right here, right now. It's too confusing, it's too convoluted. This is a mess and it doesn't make any sense. Let's scrap it." And that includes Cavill and all. I think, and I'm gonna play a message here from Zachary. Uh Gosh, what was is hold on a second. Oh, that's my stream. Where I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. Where did I put it? Here. I think this is it. Yeah, okay. Zachary Levi posted a message to his Twitter, and I think he absolutely sums this whole mess up perfectly. But I genuinely believe that this movie, Black Adam, was the straw that broke DC's back. Um, it was so bad. So let's start with what makes this movie so bad. And this is the trailer breakdown. Nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with an almighty powers of Egyptian gods, imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. Okay, so this movie takes place in essentially a fake Egypt, or the DC's universe's version of Egypt. I can't remember the name of the land. It doesn't matter, because The Rock is not Egyptian. He doesn't even try to do an Egyptian accent in this film whatsoever. It's kind of offensive. um, I don't know what they were thinking. I understand that's the background of the character, but then should we have cast The Rock to play this part? And this is where studios, I just listened to an awesome conversation with Quentin Tarantino. Um, and the studios would rather go with the safe big name, because if the movie bombs, they could look, well, look, we had The Rock. I mean, everything was perfect. And they could name off the stars that they got instead of the actors that would have made the role in the film better. But to give The Rock the credit, I don't think there's any actor on the planet that could have played Black Adam that would have made this movie good. Let's take a look at the writers here. And this is the main writer, Adam Stitzkyle, who, and I'm not knocking Adam. I would kill to have the credits he has as a writer. Started on the MTV Movie Awards, wrote a screenplay called Maid of Honor, wrote Due Date, which, Due Date wasn't heralded as a great flick, even though you had two great actors in it. TV show called Awesome Town, Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip, a TV show called Undateable that was had 36 episodes, A Bronx Life, Spaced Out, which are both TV movies, Rampage. Now this is where his career gets interesting. Rampage, which is the film based off of a video game. Why you would make a movie about that game is completely beyond me. But they did, and he wrote it, and The Rock starred in it. So I think this is how what's his name? Adam got on board with Black Adam, is because they had this relationship through Rampage. Then you've got the TV show Whiskey Cavalier and Scoob, which this is an impressive resume if you're about to make a film, but I don't think this resume qualifies you to write a blockbuster summer big, 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 big budget film. This film's budget is estimated to be between 190 and 260 million dollars. That's just the production budget, okay? And this movie grossed 391 million dollars. And you're like, "Well, 391 million dollars. It made over 100 million dollars. It's a successful film." Wrong. If the film's budget was 260 million, which I would assume it was, just because of the name. The Rock is not a cheap actor to hire. And it's a DC film, and they wanted it to be a big blockbuster. Anytime you see a production budget, there's also an advertising budget that's not included in this number. And most of the times, 99.9% of the time, the advertising budget is exactly the same number as the budget for the film. So if it's a $260 million film, it's a $260 million investment in advertising. And this movie had that $260 million budget for advertising because it was on every bus, every billboard. The movie theaters were loaded with these posters. We had a Super Bowl commercial. There was a ton of money bumped. So this is almost over a $500 million budget, and it grossed 391. So it lost $109 million. This includes China. This is worldwide box office. It's so bad that it's already on demand on HBO Max. This was a huge bomb for DC. But I think it's not that it was just a bomb, but the script was so convoluted and absolutely undermines anything that if you liked the Zack Snyder verse, which personally I loathed. I cannot stand the Zack Snyder universe, almost any part of it, except for maybe Superman. There's really nothing, as far as I'm concerned, that is worth saving out of that universe at all. I hated the extended cut of Justice League. That was terrible. But then you put this on top of it. It was so bad. Okay, so starting at the top, The Rock's not Egyptian. Okay, possibly forgivable, but in my opinion, I don't think it is. But the thing that is the most unforgivable is the script. And also, this gentleman wasn't the only writer. It's not always a red flag, but if a film has more than two writers, I always get kind of worried. And when you look at the credits for the other two writers, they should not, they want, I mean, they have two credits, 6 episodes of The Informer on television, and the Martanian. I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of that, but it's a film that I've never heard of. Not to say because I haven't heard of it, can't be good. Might be good. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but this is not the resume of A+ screenwriter. So that's screenwriter number 2 with almost zero credits to their name. And then you've got screenwriter number 3, and Rory Haynes is screenwriter number 2, screenwriter number 3, Sohrab Nashvirani, who worked on the same film as the previous writer, the Mauritanian, and The Informer. They have the exact same resume, so clearly they're writing partners. That should have been the first red flag for everybody, was who is writing this film. And it shows. Like, this film was a soft ripoff of so many different moments, not only from Marvel, but other, like, for example, The Rock at the beginning of this film takes things literally, kind of like Drax does in Guardians of the Galaxy. And man, it does not hit whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense because it just doesn't fit the character whatsoever. He wakes up from his two, like, okay, so Egypt, fake Egypt, is being occupied by what is clear to be American, almost Blackwater type occupation. And the occupation that is there in Egypt is looking for this crown that was made in ancient fake Egypt, when The Rock and his family were alive, and they were enslaved to mine this jewel, this mineral that helped create this majestic crown that could summon the 6 demons of the underworld. And man, it is, from the CGI, the writing, everything about this film is so laughable. It is cringe city. I have never been this angry at a movie in a very long time. Very long time. Like, I was pissed off. I was hate watching this entire. This was the whole film. That's what the movie Black Adam was. That's what it was. That was like to watch it. It was so bad. And I understand 100% now why James Gunn pulled the plug on Superman. And I have a feeling that the Shazam series is, once this second film drops and once Aquaman drops, they're going to say goodbye to Zachary Levi and Jason Momoa, and those characters are gone. And they're going to retroact the whole time, all of it, the whole universe, and start from scratch. And not really from scratch, because I think the current Suicide Squad, the latest Suicide Squad, is going to be the only thing that might be pulled from, or that is part of this universe. And then the only other things that stay are the Batman with Robert Pattinson and the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Those are going to be the only other two properties that stay. And then they're going to completely redo the DC universe, starting, I think, with Superman. And I think this is the best thing that could ever happen for DC, ever. Um, this movie ripped, like, okay, so another thing this flick ripped off was the Terminator 2 don't kill anybody kind of thing, because we got to keep this a PG-13 movie, so please stop killing people, because at the beginning of this film, The Rock kills everybody, like, in this temple, and there's no blood. It's just like literally lightning bolts going through people. One guy, he turned into ashes in the palm of his hand. And that's the other thing that sucked about this movie, and is the reason why I didn't go to the theater to watch it, because I didn't want to watch a movie about The Rock being The Rock. Nobody could beat this guy. He is literally Superman in this film. Nobody can hold a candle. The only person that can control his power is him when he says Shazam. Because when he says Shazam, he goes back to his normal body, which is the body of the father of the family that was slain. And man, they tried to superimpose Rock's enormous head onto a skinny version of his body when he unshazams himself. It looked terrible. I cannot I there's so many things that are rushing to my head that were just really, really, really bad and blatant ripoffs of other films that are sometimes really good, and sometimes you're like, why are you ripping off a movie that wasn't even that good? It is unfathomable that this film got the green light with the script that it had. The only saving grace of this film was Pierce Brosnan, and barely. He dialed in this performance, I think, big time. Big time. Um, these characters were so bad. So you had Alice Hodge as Hawkman, Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, Noah. Okay, so Dr. Fate is basically Doctor Strange. Hawkman is, you know, the Falcon. Okay. Uh, Noah Centineo is the Atom Smasher. He's essentially Ant-Man, but he just gets big. And I gotta say, and this is not a knock on the actors. They can only do the best with what they have, right? Um, Quintessa Swindle and her character Cyclone was a ripoff of Storm from X-Men, but it was the worst. The worst. Her superpower is to fly and also create tornadoes that she collects loose rubble and pipes with and throws at her enemies that are invincible to metal pipes hitting them. It is the most useless superpower that I have ever seen portrayed in a comic book film ever. Other than James Gunn's Suicide Squad with like the guy with the floaty hand, like the really, that character Cyclone could have been in that beach scene from Suicide Squad, and she would have fit beautifully in there, because I would have loved to seen her character get blown up by the army of South American guerrillas that was there firing tanks at these people. The worst character. Um, Everybody else in the film was from an Arabic country, but they all played small parts. And in my opinion, couldn't carry a film by themselves. But maybe if the script was better, they would have been. I think they probably would have done a lot better with this. This was bad. It was. I can't say it was bad enough. It is hands down, like I said, like my least favorite comic book movie of all time. But I'm curious to know what you guys are saying in the chat. Um, a bad Egyptian accent could be offensive. Yeah, I agree. That's why you either try and hire an acting coach because you're The Rock. And if you can't figure out the dialect, maybe turn down the role and give it to an Egyptian actor that could have played Black Adam. And I promise you, they exist. Royston Grange, indubitably. I do a good Arabic accent. Maybe they should have called me. Um, it is pretty jarring to hear Egyptian accents than The Rock just sounding like The Rock. Yes, 100% agree. 100%. Even like when they had flashbacks of his family, the family members had an Arabic accent. It was wild, man. Absolutely wild. And that's the other thing. Like the sets on this film, I didn't buy for a second that this was anything other than a lot somewhere in California or England or wherever they shot this film. Um, Everything felt like nothing was on location. Nothing. Um, there is a in the opening credits scene, there is like this thing of molten lava that pours into a cup that overflows. It looks so bad. And right from the start, I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't gonna be good. Andrew Hall, what's up? How's it going, Lou Reviews? Hope you're enjoying the holidays. Yep. Black Adam movie was not very good. Wyatt Jones, it irked me a bit when the trailers kept mentioning it was the best superhero movie of 2022, even though Black Adam is a villain. And that's another thing. In the comic books, Black Adam is the villain to Shazam. I'm pretty sure he fights Superman. Like, legitimately, this guy's is supposed to be a maniac, and they turned him into a good guy. Again, not respecting the lore, not respecting the mythology that exists around these characters, because the Black Adam origin story is horrific. It should be a rated R film. Like it should be. And there should be a rated R Superman as well. I hope that Warner Brothers and James Gunn really take the risks. And I don't even see it as risk, because you see the success of the Joker. You see the success of Suicide Squad. Rated R comic book films, kids still watch them. 13 13 to 18 are still going to watch them no matter what the rating is at the movie theater. Like, nobody's getting carded at the movie theater when they're like, hey, I want 2 tickets to Suicide Squad, and the kid looks 15. Not one movie attendant on the planet, and the movie attendants even exist anymore with Fandango. Like, the rating system is so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. So make the rated R movies, because you're gonna make the money back. Studios are so afraid to make movies that are rated R, and have, if it has any inkling of selling a toy, they always make it PG-13. And it's dumb. It's so stupid, because you can still sell toys with a rated R movie. In fact, I think you'll sell more. Just my opinion. Agreed. Wyatt Jones, the marketing campaign did overpromise in a big way. The marketing campaign was massive. Again, it's a $260 million budget. It's got a $260 million marketing campaign. So that's over that's a $500 million to make Black Adam, which means that they were expecting a $2 or $3 billion movie. And they got 196 million, was it? 391 million, when it was supposed to be 4 or 5 billion. That's a massive, massive flop. And I don't care what The Rock says, how he tries to sugarcoat that this was a success. It wasn't. Not by any means, by any barometer whatsoever. Does that mean The Rock is finished? Over? I could if I was The Rock's agent, I would recommend to him to start being a lot more selective with the roles that you choose if you want to continue being an actor that people are going to trust when they hear this is the best movie of all time. This is the best superhero movie of all time. I know that's going to be true because The Rock only does kick-ass films. And you don't. You do a lot of terrible, terrible Rampage, San Andreas, now this. There's a couple other, I mean, Calvin or Hobbs and Shaw. Ugh. I don't know which one's worse, Black Adam or Hobbs and Shaw. At least with Hobbs and Shaw, he went to a Polynesian island at the end of the film, and that wasn't as culturally inappropriate as this film is. I don't know how nobody's talking about this in 2022 with all the wokeness and sensitivity to gay actors playing gay roles or black actors having more opportunities, more lead roles, Latino actors, same thing. You can't hire an Italian today and have him play a Cuban drug lord like you did in the 80s with Scarface. Like you had Italians playing Cuban people in Scarface. It's one of the most offensive films of all time is Scarface. It is so inaccurate as to what Cubans sound like. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Now, one lead actor was an action. I believe he's actually Cuban. Manolo, the guy, his Scarface's best friend. I'm pretty sure is a Cuban actor. I'm forgetting his name right now. But outside of that, nobody was Spanish on Scarface. That's essentially what they did here. Except they made the main character a Polynesian American and everyone else around him Arabic. And they're like, our work's done here. Nah, don't worry about the accent. Don't worry about the authenticity of it. I don't know how this movie didn't get slammed for that. I didn't hear a lot about it. I don't know if you guys did. But it just the name of the the name of the foursome, this lame ass Justice League rip off of they called themselves the Justice Society of America. It was just the names of these characters were terrible. They're niche characters that I think most people don't really care about. It was bad. I mean, this guy's character, Hawkman, was useless. Useless. He couldn't hold a candle to the powers of The Rock. I mean, The Rock was just The Rock the whole movie. Nothing can beat me. Nothing can come close to beating me up. Nothing. Not even the enemy at the end of the movie. Wasn't even... I did not think for 1 second that The Rock was going to lose a fight. It was... It's like, guy, we get it. You're a huge, beautiful specimen of muscle. I get it. But I want to see that huge, beautiful specimen of muscle and testosterone and ego get knocked down a couple pegs in a film and really stay there, like Christian Bale and Batman. When he went on his journey and just got his ass kicked for the first hour and a half of the movie almost. Like, those are the roles I think you should start really looking at, Rock. I think, and I don't know if you guys know that, I think I mentioned this earlier, but in The Rock's contract, he's not allowed to lose fights or appear that he's losing a fight. It's in his contract. That's why every fight, and the same thing is in Jason Statham's contract. That's why in Hobbs and Shaw, there's never a clear winner in their fights ever. It's let me. This is. I saw this message from Zachary Levy. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that last name. Levy. And when I heard this, I'm like, this guy's a pro. This guy's a pro and understands what it's like to be an actor, a working actor. So I wanted to play this for you guys. Let me actually take this down because I don't think you'll hear the audio the way it's set up right now. So let me just do that so you guys can hear what Zachary Levy had to say, because it's really, really awesome. Give me 2 seconds here. Share my screen. There we go. Okay, so let's listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
I have no idea what's ultimately going to happen to me. I think I'm in a pretty good position. I think we made a great movie. I think it's going to do well, reasonably well. I hope so. But again, regardless of that, if they decide at some point that, hey, this is the way we got to go, I mean, them's the breaks. That's how it goes. And I hope that people enjoyed. At whatever point I finish playing the role of Shazam, I hope people enjoyed my tenure playing the role and that they come with me to whatever else I get to go and do. That's it. Okay. So I don't want to, it's hard for me to see all these random comments and like basically lies and things that people are throwing around online and not want to respond, because I hate lies. I hate deceit. I hate injustice so much. And so I want to set records straight. By the way, so does James. He's been doing this for a long time. That's why he's so active on Twitter, because he really wants people to know what's up truly and wanting to set records straight. And so it's, that's why you'll see action from me or him or other people coming to defense. It's not because we want to get tied up in some random argument with an internet troll. It's because we're trying to help cut through all of this random, deceitful banter that just keeps going around and around, because a lot of people who are very good, kind people who really like Shazam or these other things are getting worried, like, oh, is this all falling apart? Is this all going away? Everyone just take a breath. I know we've seen some characters, some actors that are taking an exit, and I know that's difficult. That's difficult for even me. You know what I mean? I was hoping I got to work with a lot of these folks, but it's just not the way it's going to go down right now. And I think you all need to, whoever out there is still like all drummed up and pissed off, like just trust that James is so, look, if you haven't watched what he did with Guardians, which was a total niche property that he actually brought really awesome life to, and his reboot of Suicide Squad, that was better than the first one. He really made something incredible there. He understands comic books, guys. He understands world building. He understands how to do right by the canon and also by the characters and also by the audience. And Peter's there to be he's an incredible diplomat and business person. I've worked with him now for years. Just breathe. It's going to be okay. It's going to be better than okay.
I could have said it better myself. And here's what sucks. Shazam was an awesome movie. I love Shazam. I loved him as the actor playing Shazam. I think that was a film that was a niche character and they brought to life in a really wonderful way in that movie. But this is going to end Shazam. I think Shazam 2 is going to be a big hit. I think it's going to make more money than it costs to make. I think, like I said at the top, once the movie drops and the box office comes in and everything's settled, they're going to end Shazam. Because I think this film ruined it. This film ruined it. And they won't say that, but it did. This film, I think, killed the DC universe for good. This was the last nail in the DC Zack Snyder universe coffin, and rest in peace, DC universe 2000 whatever till now. It sucks, but like you said, them's the breaks. As an actor, it happens and you got to move on to the next project. And for him, I know he's going to get a ton of work. And And with an attitude like that, it just sucks. It does suck for him, because I really, really, really did like the Shazam series, and I can't wait to see part two. I think it's going to be like, should this the beautiful thing about Shazam is like, look, comic book films can be PG-13 and still be really, really good, and Shazam is the perfect example of that. The perfect example of that. And it was going to be interesting to see Shazam in the super world, timeline. That would have been cool to see, but I don't think we're ever going to see it. No, we're definitely not going to see it because Henry Cavill's no longer Superman, and it doesn't look like they're doing Shazam 2, and that The Rock's essentially been told that. Every other character other than the two characters that have films that haven't dropped yet, Aquaman and Shazam, are the only ones who haven't been dropped from the DC roster and told, "Hey, we're moving on to other things, to a new timeline, a new universe." And the good thing about the fans who love this universe, it'll always be there. You could always access it. You can watch it anytime. If you love Shazam, or Black Adam, the movies will always be there for you to watch and consume. But yeah, that's it. You're not gonna get any more until it somehow comes back in a new way, in a different way, in a new universe. And I'd say, you know, just like Zach just said, James Gunn has a really healthy and deep respect for these characters. He's a comic book nerd. He's not going to let the fans down. And he's also not going to let, I think, people who love film down, I think James is going to bring a whole new era and bar setting when it comes to comic book films. In that genre. And so yeah, I mean, let's see. We had a poll. I had a poll at the beginning of the show. Is Black Adam the worst superhero movie of all time? And this poll is interesting. Well, I mean, I guess most of you disagree. So, is it the worst superhero movie of all time? 19% said yes. Worst superhero movie of all time. 41% said no, and then another 41% said undecided. So if Black Adam is not the worst superhero movie of all time, what is, in your opinion? Share it in the comments below if you're catching this on repeat. If you guys are here live, what is this worst superhero movie you guys have seen? Since you're here voting on the poll, I'm curious to know. Let's see here. Black Adam was all right, I guess. It's not worse than the Suicide Squad. They're close. I think it's worse. It's much better than Suicide Squad, in fact. I just love the real-time thinking here from Kat. Black Adam was all right, I guess. Wasn't the it was it's not worse than Suicide Squad for sure. It's much better than Suicide Squad, in fact. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, but I love reading your thought process. So The Rock was in blackface. I wouldn't say blackface. That's a little too far. But to do a film these days, if again, like, trying to think of a I can't think of any films off the top of my head right now. But like, you know, if you did a movie about Notorious B.I.G. and you hired me as the Notorious B.I.G. to play that role, that's offensive, and that's kind of what they did here. So the best part was a Superman cameo in the credits. I'm kind of with you, Audrey, although it did not excite me or surprise me or you want me, or like, it gave me no urge to see another Black Adam film. Let's put it that way. Usually those post-credit scenes are supposed to get you excited. for the film. I dislike Daredevil more than Black Adam. Oh my god, that's so good. That's so good. Oh my god. I walked out of Daredevil. I think you're right. I think Daredevil is the worst superhero movie of all time. Audrey, I stand corrected. Ben Affleck as Daredevil was awful. Jennifer Garner as Elektra. Oh God, so many terrible. That's the only movie I've ever walked out in my entire life. You just a whole bunch of memories just rush back from my early 20s on this one, Audrey. Thank you so much for that. And I think you're right. I'd have to watch it again like tonight and compare which one was worse. But yeah, Wonder Woman 84 was unwatchable, and this one is just as bad. I think a little worse. Um Oh, yeah, it's tough. You guys are giving me some good ones here. Personally, I felt like it was Green Lantern. I I didn't love Green Lantern, but I didn't hate it as much as Daredevil and Wonder Woman 84 and Black Adam. So these are all great. These are I love that you guys are giving. Okay, what else you guys got? Can't be better than Morbius though. Morbius is Kino. What does Kino mean? Now I got to look up the Kino. Kino slang. Oh my god, I have a feeling it's going to be hilarious. Grand Cinema. Oh, okay. All right. I thought absolute Kino. All right. So Kino, comparative, more Kino, superlative, more Kino, internet slang, 4chan slang, grand cinematic, especially in regards to cinema or other cultural mediums. This game is absolutely Kino. Can't be better than Morbius. I know you're pulling my leg here. Like you're pulling my leg. Okay, I haven't watched Morbius because I was afraid to watch it, but now I'm gonna watch it. Because I've heard it's so bad that it's good. So I might have to now watch Morbius and do a review on Morbius and see and compare. You know what? Maybe we'll do top 10 worst comic book films of all time. If you guys want that, if we can get up to 100 likes, I will give you top 10 worst comic book movies of all time, and we'll discuss them one by one. Lex Diaz, Thor Love and Thunder was far worse, I think. Ooh. Man, you guys are coming strong. You guys are coming strong. I don't know if it's worse. No, it's not worse. It's not worse because it's not anywhere near as offensive. Or as incoherent, and Thor Love and Thunder was pretty incoherent. But yeah, no, I disagree here. I disagree. That would definitely make the top 10, Thor Love and Thunder, but I think it'd be like number 10, number 9, somewhere in that. It'd be at the back end of the list, not at the front end. Whereas Black Adam is gotta be in the top 3. Has to be now. I've backed off worst movie of all time. You guys have convinced me. It's definitely in the top 3, 5 to be safe. I was just happy to see Henry Cavill. Period. I hear you, and I hope he does really well with the Warhammer series. We were going to talk about that a little bit, but I don't know much about Warhammer. But I will say I am a little worried that he's been kicked off 2 sets now, kind of in a way, or he's left. There are rumors that he's a little difficult to work with, but those are rumors, right? But it is a little weird for you to kind of walk away from 2 big franchises or be asked to walk away from, one out of the 2 big franchises within a span of 2 months. It's normally that would be a red flag. But because it's Henry Cavill and he's just earned so much respect with nerddom, because he is a genuine nerd. I'll also give him the benefit of the doubt. So I hope he kicks ass on Warhammer. I hope it ends up being a massive, massive hit, and then he could go on and do other nerdy properties like that. Because I think, if the rumors are true about The Witcher, I wish they had followed his direction more as far as staying closer to the source material, and I think it would have been a much better show. But hey, we'll see what's up. Yo, what's up, Extinguisher? What's up, Varha? Thank you so much for being here, being a new watcher. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're here for the algorithm. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate, there's a Patreon link in the description below. Please check it out. Yoshi, the Hulk movies have always been disappointing. Yeah, I agree. Well, here's the thing with Hulk and Superman is they're both so powerful. Like, what hurts Superman? Kryptonite, or another being from his planet. It's hard to write and shoot and film and conceptualize a fight with something that you can't beat. Like, there's no stakes. You never think that Superman is gonna die, and I know he died in the Zack Snyderverse for a whole 20 minutes. But if you're gonna kill Superman, you need to kill Superman for a year or two. Like, he doesn't come back and save the day, and maybe other superhero die because of it. Like make it mean something. Not bring him back the next movie to fight Batman. It's so stupid. But I agree. The Hulk movies, they were pretty bad. I think they would make the first one with Eric Bana would definitely make the top 10 worst comic book movies of all time. The Edward Norton one would be close. I'd have to go back and watch it, but it would be close. It would be close. I know this is off topic, but what are your thoughts on Playtime? What's Playtime? I don't know what that is. Tell me what that is, Vara, and I'll give you my opinion on it. I'll be here for the Morbius review. I fell asleep in Morbius. Spawn was terrible. Okay, but that's not fair because Spawn did not have a budget like all of these other films. And Spawn wasn't great, but at least it was damn close to the source material. But I just think that movie was too it couldn't be made at the time it was made. The best thing out of that film was John Leguizamo and his character, and everything else around it I think was just kind of weird. But then again, Spawn, the HBO series, was kind of weird. I don't know if Spawn would make my top 10. I think it'd be close. It'd be an honorable mention, but I think you could tell with that film that there was a lot of love and they stretched every penny that they had on that budget as far as they could. And I promise you, no matter how bad it was, I guarantee you that movie made more than return in the budget that it had. I promise you that. The DVD sales of Spawn were hands down made that money back on that film. No doubt in my mind. So I'd say that's the difference, is that Spawn didn't lose money. It did kill the franchise, though. They never made another Spawn movie after that. But then again, Todd McFarlane's very difficult to work with because he's very particular about his properties, which I don't blame him. I mean, I'm with him. I say Venom is entertaining. Bad. Heard Morbius was more so bad it's boring. I think you heard right. Maybe we should do a Morbius watch party. That would be hilarious. Son of the Mask 2006 was complete. Okay, that's not a superhero movie. That does not count whatsoever. Yes, maybe worst movie of all time, but I do not count The Mask as a superhero. I'm sorry. No, 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 no. Let's not forget the absolute trash of Fantastic Four in 2015. Both of the Fantastic Fours, both of them. Oh my God, you absolutely nailed it, Yoshi. Both those Fantastic Fours would have to be in the top 10. Oh my God, which one's worse? I'd say probably 2015 is worse. But damn, woo, Cats right there. Oh yeah, fantastic. Oh my God, so bad. Oh my God, you guys are like, yes, all agree. Everybody agrees that that the Fantastic Four was awful. Black Adam crushed it. People just don't like to see justice against the powers that be. You think Black Adam crushed it? Okay, hey, look, that's cool. I people just don't like to see justice against the powers that be. I disagree. That's not why I didn't like this movie. If you like the movie, awesome. But I don't think people didn't rush to see this because brown people were beating up white people or killing white people in this film, or white occupiers. I'm brown, and this movie did not speak to me in that level whatsoever, at all. If it did for you, great. But that's not why this movie didn't work. I think the idea of an American occupation in an Arabic Egyptian style world is an awesome idea. And you could really play with the duality of that, because on the surface and to the world, we're the good guys. But when you get to the nitty gritty of the occupation, we can get pretty nasty, ugly, and the underbelly of what most people don't see when these occupations happen. I think is a great opportunity for some really rich, terrifying storytelling. And you put Black Adam in a situation like that, awesome. Like I don't think the initial idea of this is bad. It's just how they paid service to it was really bad. Let's see here. Apparently Catwoman I forgot about Catwoman. You guys, you're bringing it strong. I know there's only 17 here, and I'm not complaining whatsoever, but the ones who are here, you guys are nerds and you get it. And Catwoman is definitely. Oh my God. How many movies have I definitely put in the top 10? We're going to actually fill this out. I love it. I haven't seen it yet, but Playtime is a French comedy from 1967 about industrialization, and is shot in a really interesting way, almost like you're watching things from security cameras or something. Interesting. Okay. No, I have not seen it. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Does the Toxic Avenger count? No. No, look, we can't count films from superhero, like we can't count the Batman from the 60s, that movie. We can't, like, I can't count those films because they didn't have proper budgets. Like Toxic Avenger was made by, God, what's that dude's name? It was an insanely small, very tiny closet production company. And the owner of that company, God, I'm forgetting this. It's like you know what? Let's just look it up. I just want to remember. You ever get those, you see those things you just want to remember? Toxic Avenger, IMDb. Let's see here. Lloyd Kaufman. That's the gentleman who owns everything that is Toxic Avenger. And let's see here. He also, I mean, he Lloyd Kaufman's studio, which is, what is the name of this studio? Movies, Broadway musicals, the pictures, and the works of Roger Corman, executive producer. Slaughterhouse Trauma Films. That's it. Trauma Films is the production company that he started, and Trauma, obviously Birth, Toxic Avenger, and a bunch of other crazy, crazy B movies. But no, I don't count it, only because the other movie that I loved from that is Freaks. That movie was so crazy, from the 90s or late 80s, early 90s. That was such an absolute batshit crazy movie. Oh, I have to go back and watch that one. That was just weird. But yeah, so no, I can't count those because those studios were tiny. They were B movies at best, in most cases C movies. So no, I do not count Toxic Avenger, but good suggestion. It did though. It did what? Let me see here. I disagree, Jonathan. I'm sorry. I disagree with you. But we'll just stick around and let's see what James Gunn does, and then we can comparatively, in 10 years from now, we can have this conversation again and say, okay, the Snyderverse was definitively better and Black Adam was way better than anything James Gunn did. But we can't have that conversation now. I don't think that's the way the conversation is going to go down in 10 years. I think there are much more creative ways to be inclusive and diverse than to force feed things. And again, like, you had almost an entirely Arabic cast with a story that takes place in an Arabic part of the world in a fake Egypt, and the lead character doesn't speak Egyptian or any Arabic languages. It's not even a descendant from that part of the world. He just looks like he might be. And to be honest, I don't think he would fit at all in the Arabic community. I think he'd stick out like a sore thumb. But just my thought. I think Black Adam was a sort of diet. TSS, the Suicide Squad wrote the whole imperialism thing. Yeah, I wouldn't even say a diet version of it. I'd just say a very watered down version of it. Toxic Avenger was there. Thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate it. Judge Dredd, 95 Stallone version. Hate to say was bad. I'm a huge Stallone fan. Okay, this is great. I don't know if I would consider 1995 Judge Dredd in the top 10. I know it's a comic book movie, but it's before the comic book movie era, which clearly I think we can all agree starts with Iron Man and the first Marvel or Spider-Man, really Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, I'd say was probably the first big blockbuster, provable comic book hit. Spider-Man changed the entire world and the entire industry as far as whether or not this could be done. Maybe Michael Keaton Batman, but the thing is, Batman didn't pave the way for more awesome comic book exploring universes. Spider-Man, on the other hand, did, because I think the special effects caught up to the storytelling, and they were finally able to tell these stories about things that could crawl on the walls and fly around on cool contraptions, or X-Men with claws that come out and they look real, or Cyclops, so. I will say this though about Judge Dredd. 95 Judge Dredd, not good. Carl Urban Judge Dredd, the new Judge Dredd, one of my favorite flicks. Top 50 favorite film of all time. For sure, Dredd would sneak in there. I love that flick, and I've heard they're making a sequel. It's in the works. If I hear more about it, I will share. I disagree with you. All right. Well, we disagree. Shaq Superman was the worst thing. Yes. That we can agree on. That was Shazam too, right? The Shaq version of Shazam was awful. We are in 100% agreement there. But Yeah, agree to disagree with you. So we'll end that there. Simon Fly, no Superman. No, Superman was before the Spider-Man movies. Yes, but Superman again, like Superman didn't spawn a ton of other comic book films. It's not like Superman was then, followed up by Batman, then followed up by the Avengers, then followed up by the X-Men, then follow up, like they couldn't do a lot of the Hulk, they couldn't do all of these films like they're doing today. But I agree. I mean, Superman, if we could definitely count that as a superhero film, without a doubt, not taking away from it. I just don't know if I'd consider it part of the superhero era. Um, it was definitely a precursor to it. It was, a film special effects wise, obviously changed a lot of stuff in Hollywood. But I think, Star Wars did that too. Um, that's a good one, Simon. That's a good one. I'm almost with you on this one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. 50-50 on that one. You made me think on that one. So with regards to thank you so much for clarifying that. Guess I'm throwing a lot of internet slang here. I'm terrible with internet slang, just FYI, but I appreciate you clarifying for me. I'm with you, Carl Urban Tread. I love that film. And if there's a sequel, that's awesome. Well, it is awesome, and I think it's gonna happen. Punisher with Ray Stevenson and Thomas Jane was awful. Oh my god, I remember when that movie came out. I was so excited to see it. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Um whew. Okay, you know what, guys? We might have to throw the 90s into this. Oh man, we might have to throw the 90s into this. Urban's Dread was great. I agree with you 100%. Okay, so let me rate Black Adam on the scale of 1 to 10. This is a 1. If it wasn't laughably bad, I would say never watch it. I would not recommend it to my worst enemy. It is that bad. A 1. A 1. If I could give it a 0, I would, but I don't want to be rude. It's bad. It's every aspect of it. The cinematography, the editing, the special effects, the direction, the writing, the acting. I'm sorry. I always hate doing that because I'm an actor and I hate judging other actors. Because I think most times it's not their fault. They're just there doing a job and reading the lines they're given. But there was nothing convincing. I never once felt any sort of concern for these characters, whether they died, whether they didn't. When characters did die, I didn't care. Because there was no history to them. There was no reason to care. You knew The Rock wasn't going to die. You knew the kid in the movie wasn't going to die, and the mother of the child wasn't going to die. And there's a couple ancillary characters around them that you knew weren't going to die. Pretty much everybody except for the bad guy. The bad guy. And again, that's another thing. Like, the bad guy doesn't have any reasons to be a bad guy other than he just wants the power and the control. He just wants to be the most powerful thing ever. And that's a terrible reason to be a bad guy. At least in the Marvel universe, his reasons for wanting to destroy Thanos' reasons for wanting to destroy half the universe, there's a philosophy behind it. It's not just so he could be the almighty powerful thing that controls half the universe. He's literally trying to save it, in his own really warped way. So there's conflict there. There's a reason to carry out evil acts in the name of what you think is right, as opposed to carrying out evil acts just because you want to rule the world or the universe or whatever. I think it's always so unoriginal when the The antagonist of the film has no reason to be an antagonist other than they just want the power. They want to be king of whatever. It's so stupid. So 1 out of 10. I think this movie was the reason the DC universe has been reset. I genuinely believe that. It it it's bad. I can't say it enough. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But not sorry. Pierce Brosnan's Doctor Strange knockoff was entertaining, though. Was it? I didn't find him entertaining. It was as if they tried to copy the violence from The Boys urban superhero series. See, like, I love The Boys. That's what I want to see in the DC universe. I want the DC universe to basically do The Boys, but better. And I think they can. Or at least close to it. As far as I'm concerned, The Boys is the best superhero universe on television or film anywhere right now. That and then followed closely by Invincible, the animated series on Amazon. Both of those are sick. And I think for me, those are things I am now huge fan of. Like when I heard the superhero names for the first time in The Boys, I was like, oh man, these are clear ripoffs. It just sounds, it's like at first doesn't hit you right, but the writing is so good, the cinematography is so good, the acting is superb. That you can't help you forego the little things that you thought you didn't like about it, end up embracing those little things because the writing is so amazing, and then the acting is just as good, and those little things end up becoming, like I said, the things you love about that make you fan of the intellectual property of whatever you're watching. So anyway, they should do a live action Invincible series or movies. That would be great. I know they're doing season 2 is almost out. Like it's coming within the next, I think, 90 days. So if you loved Invincible, stay tuned because I know there's more of that coming. Anyway, you guys, that is my review of Black Adam, the destroyer of the DC universe. In a way, I'm kind of happy this film happened because we get the reset. I know a lot of fans, a lot of nerds, a lot of the community hate the reset, hate that Henry Cavill's going away. I'm gonna hate that Zachary Levi's going away, and the Shazam world is going away because of Black Adam. But if I never have to see another Zack Snyder comic book movie again, or Zack Snyder movie, period, all the better. All the better as far as I'm concerned. I think this was a film that, like I said, needed to be made so it gave the studio the permission to go, okay, you're right. Enough's enough. Let's fix this. Because we've got we're sitting on a potentially $1 trillion property, and we're making peanuts off of it because we're not servicing the fans, we're not servicing the script, we're not servicing the actors, we're just trying to service our pocketbooks. We're just trying to make these things happen that we think the fans will love, that we think will be box office hits, and they're not coming from the right place, and it's clear. The proof's in the pudding. None of these movies are making money from DC except for the rated R ones and the ones that are good. Like your record says what you are, and the DC record is pretty piss poor. So the DC universe is pretty piss poor. The reset needed to happen. I'm happy it's here. I trust James Gunn. I am here for James Gunn. I think he's going to make the best decisions, I hope, out of any of the studios. And like I said, set a new bar for what great comic book films can be. So I'm excited. So I hope you guys are excited. Like I said, I've got a Modern Warfare review coming. We've got live stream games coming. I've got a lot of things planned, you guys. I'm super excited for the future of the channel. We've got so many ideas that we're about to do. So, yeah, thanks for being here. I hope you guys had happy holidays and Merry Christmases and Happy Hanukkahs, and you got what you wanted. And if you didn't, I hope you get it this new year. I hope you guys have a killer new year and a safe new year. Don't drink and drive. Don't get stoned and drive all over the place. Have fun, but be responsible. Other than that, I'm out. Y'all have a great, what's today? Monday? Have a great week. Have the great rest of your week. I hope you don't work too hard. And yeah, my name is Luis Jimenez. Thank you so much for coming aboard and checking out another episode of Lou Reviews. If you want to see something that you're dying to be reviewed, leave it in the comment below, and if I can get to it, I will. We've got food reviews coming. I've got a review of Disneyland that I've just, you know what? Editing is so hard right now, so time consuming. But I have a review on Disneyland and the new Star Wars rides in there, so I did that for you guys. So yeah, so stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff coming, and if there's stuff you want to see, leave it in the comment below. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. If you love the show, thank you very much. If you don't, thanks for watching this long. I really appreciate it. Hope you keep watching. Other than that, have a wonderful week. I love y'all. Peace. My